had a wonderful weekend. Welcome into this Monday edition of First Take. We appreciate you hanging with us. Max Kellerman, Stephen A. Smith,
What's up, big boy?
How
you doing?
How we doing, guys? You have a good weekend? Finally get a little sleep and stuff?
Yes. You know what? I must admit, listen, had some beautiful time with the family.
Nice.
In between. To start off the weekend, I got to watch Friday's episode of General Hospital. That was always a good thing. Okay, my episode there, my appearance, they come this Thursday.
This Thursday? Can't wait. Max, you get to break it down.
And then I closed my weekend by watching my favorite primetime show right now, Power on Stars.
How good was last night's episode?
Amari Hardwick, 50 Cent, Joseph Sikora. I'm proud of y'all. Oh, what a show.
We won't spoil it for people, but it was an incredible episode last night. All right, well, we're going to try to have a show today, right?
Well, we do.
Let's get into it. We'll get you caught up on what went down over the weekend. And we begin with Saturday. We finally saw football back in L.A. when the Rams hosted the Cowboys. It was Tony Romo's backup, Dak Prescott, who stole the show at the Coliseum, going 10-12 for 139 yards and 2 TDs in one half in front of nearly 90,000 fans. You know the boss was happy about that maiden voyage. TMZ caught up with Jerry Jones after the game. Take a listen.
What is it about Johnny Manziel that you guys don't want him on the team?
Dak Prescott.
Stephen A., you were tough on Jerry Jones following his comments about his backup QB situation. Do you owe Mr. Jones an apology after Dak's performance?
Well, congratulations, not just to you, not just to Max, but to all the producers here at First Take and for anybody at ESPN for thinking like evidently you all do, because I want to make sure that I'm clear by saying that is the most ridiculous question that I've ever been asked in my career at ESPN on First Take. Do I owe Jerry Jones an apology because of one preseason game? Am I supposed to get excited? Let's stop the presses. Let's throw a parade. Let's sit up there and celebrate. Let's sing Kumbaya to all the Dallas Cowboy fans out there. God bless you. You've got a backup quarterback because of one preseason game against a second unit St. Louis team, against a St. Louis team that has a lot to prove itself, because last time I checked, they haven't been in the playoffs in recent memory. It's not like they went out there and went against the first unit of the reigning defending Super Bowl champions and wreaked havoc. I didn't see that. I saw a Dak Prescott that completed 10 of 12 passes for 139 yards. Several of those passes were dip and dunks as far as I'm concerned. He had a couple, 2 to 3 good throws. He's got nice size, nice presence in the pocket. He can throw the football, nice poise. I like it. It also helped that he had Dez Bryant out there. Let's not forget that Dez Bryant is a stud. Let's not forget that Dez Bryant is one of the elite receivers in the game. Let's not forget that Dez Bryant had a foot injury last year, and because of that, just as much as Tony Romo was what crippled and decimated the Dallas Cowboys season, that Dez Bryant was out on the field the other night, okay, against subpar individuals. I don't give a damn whether it was a starting unit, the second unit. It's the St. Louis Rams, not a Los Angeles Rams, okay? So we understand their front seven is big time. We understand what their defense can be, but until it is actually proven that it reaches fruition, we're not going to throw a parade for them either. It was a nice atmosphere. Fans in Los Angeles showed out. Came up, supported the team. We all know that people in La La have a lot to do. They didn't have to be at that damn game. They could have been at Venice Beach. They could have been over in Pacific Palisades. They could have been at downtown LA Live. They could have been on Rodeo Drive. They could have been at the Beverly Wilshire. They could have been several places. But they showed up to watch the Los Angeles Rams play a game, an NFL game in Los Angeles for the first time in over 20 years. So they deserve a lot of credit for that. Fans were hyped. Dallas, with Prescott up in there early, showed out. I like it. But it's one preseason game. The very first preseason game. He's an anomaly. He's somebody that you got to figure him out. Let's see what happens. The most exciting thing to say about this is this. You clearly don't need Johnny Manziel, which Jerry Jones knew, which is why he didn't draft him. Okay? Secondly, and more importantly, the Dallas Cowboys just might finally have a viable, reliable fixture as a backup quarterback, because Lord knows you'll need it for when, not if, but when Tony Romo gets hurt. That's about all. Outside of that, all you Cowboy lovers out there, this is not the latest excuse to be delusional. This is not the latest excuse to jump on your high horse and act like we should all make our reservations for the Super Bowl. No. He's a rookie out of Mississippi State. drafted in the 4th round, which means that 3 rounds went without him. Anybody feeling the need to pick him? I like Dak Prescott. I think he's got a lot of promise, but there's always the threat that he could be contaminated by being a Dallas Cowboy. It remains to be seen.
If they had to redo that draft, just based on this performance alone, I'll bet you he moves up a couple slots. I'm not ready to put him in the Hall of Fame yet. It's one preseason game, and Dallas Cowboys fans do need to calm down and know you don't owe anyone an apology for criticizing the Cowboys. However, they have reason to be optimistic after that performance. They have reason. First of all, he really should have been perfect. He should have been 12 for 12. He had 2 passes that were dropped, one in particular that really should have been caught, but both were more or less on target. He showed what Trent Dilfer calls arm talent. It's not just that he's making all the throws, he's throwing catchable balls. No, he never really had to air it out. We didn't get to see that. But even his down-the-field passes, when he did have to throw them, were accurate. They were on receivers' steps. He threw them in a position where the offensive player, his target, could make a play on the ball. And if your argument is, Stephen A., that Dak Prescott's out there behind a first-rate offensive line throwing to Dez Bryant, who's going to be making those plays against subpar defenses at this point in the preseason and second units, et cetera, I'll say Dez makes plays on par defenses, on under par defenses. Dez makes plays on all kinds of defenses. And that offensive line and that receiver is who, I agree, it's when, not if Dak gets in the games. It's when and not if Tony Romo goes down with injury. I'm not wishing it on him, but if you look at his recent past, this is what happens. That back is a chronic problem. When Dak gets in, he's going to be playing behind one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. And he's going to be throwing to one of the best receivers. I mean, that's how it is. So even if you think they elevated him from good to excellent in the preseason, the fact that it was his first preseason game and that's how he comes out of the gate, is he supposed to get worse from that? I would anticipate improvement. If I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan right now, if I'm Jerry Jones right now, who, by the way, wanted to draft Johnny Manziel, it was Stephen Jones who insisted that they go with an offensive lineman.
That is correct.
If I'm the Cowboys right now, I think. Listen, you don't know yet, but I'm thinking that they found something here in the 4th round of this draft. They found a backup quarterback.
But let's be clear. They did find something in the 4th round. Now, you could make the argument that Brady went a little bit later in his career, and look what he turned out to be. Fair enough. The reality is clear, though. Right now, this is Tony Romo's team. He had on the headset. He's given a lot of praise because he's the tutor extraordinaire. He's educating him, and the kid showers, and he's being that veteran presence, and he's really doing everything that he can to be a leader. Tony Romo's a very, very nice guy. I mean, I make fun of the Dallas Cowboys because we all know I hate the Cowboys. But Tony Romo is a very nice guy, a good dude, and I'm quite sure he's putting forth his due diligence to do everything he can to make sure that these guys are as prepared as they possibly can be. I like Dak Prescott when he was in college. I'm going to like him on the pro level. I have no doubt in my mind that he's somebody that's going to make this team, and I think that he's going to end up being pretty damn good. He may very well be the heir apparent. So that definitely is a reason to get excited. All I'm trying to say is that we need to understand why the excitement exists. The excitement exists, A, because he's a 4th rounder, B, because he's backing up Tony Romo, C, because the Dallas Cowboys have a history of not having a backup quarterback, and D, and most importantly, because we're always looking for something legitimate, something concrete outside of headlines to celebrate about the Dallas Cowboys, because they give you very little reason to celebrate them. A matter of fact, I don't even like the fact that we're talking about Dak Prescott right now, because the more I talk about him, the more concerned I get. I don't wish harm on anybody. I don't want him hurt. I don't want anything bad to happen to him. But the Dallas Cowboys are the walking epitome of a black cat walking around anything. Okay. Wherever they are, bad things tend to happen eventually. Not always immediate, but always eventually. It's who they are. And so the more we find ourselves talking about this Dak Prescott, who's got an arm, who's got pocket presence, who has poise, who has mobility, and every reason there is to think that he's an upgrade compared to the Brandon Whedons of the world and others, clearly what the issue here and the reason why we should be concerned is that he's a Dallas Cowboy.
Well, we
And
agree.
We don't wish anything upon him.
I think all three of us can agree on that. But one other thing that Dak Prescott showed in that game was game management ability, which is, it sounds like you're always insulting someone when you say that, but that's a huge, you need to have that ability.
It.
First of all, they were heavily penalized at a point. Second and very long, third and long. He
doesn't even know the playbook yet.
He threw them instead of panicking, he got them into field goal position. They converted on the field goal.
Pump the brakes.
I will say this also. Last preseason, remember how good Bradford and the Eagles looked in the preseason? Yeah. Eagles fans were flying high, so to speak. Yeah. Oh, look at how good everyone, and then it didn't turn out that way in the regular season. So they do have to pump the brakes in terms of enthusiasm in the preseason. But any team that saw this from their fourth-round pick at quarterback, who needs a backup quarterback, is going to be very happy about it.
Leave this alone and move on to this next subject. I'm getting sick and tired of your butts. You got a whole lot of butts up in there.
Some howevers?
Yeah, just sit up there and say, yo, Stephen A., I agree with you. Just get it over with.
Some howevers?
We all know.
He does it. But you know what's the positive? We're talking about the Cowboys.
We all know.
We're talking about the Cowboys, and we're talking football. As far as when Dak will start, we'll get into that later. And also on the other side of things, the Rams. I have some news on those L.A. Rams that I think is going to make this man hot. We'll get into that a little later.
I don't agree with him about the next topic, that's for sure.
All right.